Let's talk about the San Antonio Spurs. Last night I made a video when they blew the 29-point lead against the New York Knicks. And that video was about the Knicks and the Spurs. But I want to make a separate video about the Spurs only. And talk about how this team is currently down 3-1 and how they could easily be up 3-1 right now if it wasn't just for a couple of mistakes in every single game so far in this series. And I also want to back up the claims that I made in last night's video when I put majority of the Game 4 loss on Coach Johnson, their head coach, and De'Aaron Fox, their point guard. But let's start off with Wemby. Going back to Game 2 here. He played great defense on Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson misses the shot. Wemby gets the rebound from a different angle. Stephon Castle is looking directly at Wemby for a couple of seconds here. Then he turns his back. It's miscommunication with these young players. He throws the basketball to the back of Stephon Castle. Stephon Castle's not paying attention. He's running up the court. Jalen Brunson comes in, walks away with a steal. Wemby fouls him. Automatic free throws for the New York Knicks. That's a back-breaking play for the San Antonio Spurs. If that play doesn't happen, we're talking about a different outcome here. Now you're down 0-2 going to New York. You could have had this series tied 1-1. You drop game one, it happens, you're a young basketball team, but you could not have a play like that. And I get it, the San Antonio Spurs, the average age on this team is 25 years old. That is crazy young to be in the NBA Finals. We can champion that with this young roster and with them having a young head coach. But at the end of the day, you cannot have plays like this. This is what the regular season is for. You have to get on the same page here. The communication is key. What Wemby should have did, you bring the ball up the court or you go to De'Aaron Fox, who's in the backcourt here still. That's your main point guard. You trust him with the basketball. But to me, Wemby is the best player on this team. Many people view him as being one of the best players in the NBA. You bring the ball up the court, you drive to the paint, or you help set up a play, or you call a timeout. You can get one of those easy lob passes going from De'Aaron Fox to Wemby or to Stephon Castle. Or maybe you get a wide open three with a player like Julian Champagnie, who's a very good three-point shooter throughout the course of the regular season and the same with this playoff run. But you didn't do that. And those free throws were the nail in the coffin for the San Antonio Spurs. Wemby did have a chance to go out there and potentially get this game to overtime, but he missed a jump shot. But the turnover is still on Wemby here. I do not put the turnover on Stephon Castle. You have to be better in that situation. It's just a brain cramp type of moment for Wemby. Another situation here in Game 4 against the New York Knicks last night. He's a terrific free throw shooter. Usually he's automatic at the line. He was terrible at the free throw line in the second half of this game. Inexcusable for Wemby. Wemby comes out in the first half phenomenal. We'll get more into that in the next couple minutes here. But he was 1 for 4 from the free throw line. He missed 2 crucial free throws in this game. It was 104 to 103. You still have the lead here. But you hit those free throws. It's not a 1-point game anymore. It's now a 3-point game. You put the Knicks into a more uncomfortable situation. You have to knock down your free throws. I know that he's played great defense. He's the best defensive player in the NBA. Offensively, when he's on, he's unstoppable. But it's the little moments like this. And the problem that I have with this conversation, let this have been Kevin Durant. Let this have been LeBron. I promise you, the national media would have been grilling those players from sunup to sundown. And the same with Stephen Curry. But especially with LeBron and Kevin Durant. We have to hold Wemby to the same standard here. I know that this is his first time in the NBA Finals, but these are crucial free throws. You have to make your shots here. And it's not a good look because Stephon Castle was automatic from the free throw line late in the fourth quarter. He cashed in on his free throws while Wemby just did. And I gave him a lot of praise early on in this game in Game 4 because he got Cat into foul trouble. Within the first 64 seconds, he got 2 fouls immediately. And that's the dream scenario here for the San Antonio Spurs. Cat is such an amazing player. Has become a very good defensive player on that side of the ball. Offensively, we all know what Cat is. One of the most talented bigs that we've ever seen. One of the best shooting bigs in NBA history. But you take him off the court, they have Jeremy Shohan on the court. That's part of the reason why the New York Knicks were down big going into halftime. It was a perfect game plan for the San Antonio Spurs. Get Wemby downhill. He still finished the game with solid numbers. 24 points, 13 rebounds, did just have 1 assist. and he had 3 blocks, played terrific defense. But this is a problem that I have with Wemby. 3-point shooting. He was 2 for 8 from 3. You got to cut that out. He was 1 for 3 in the third quarter. Did not take a 3-point shot in the fourth quarter. Wemby was 3 for 14 overall in the second half of this game. Not good. Get to the free throw line. Cash in at the rim. He had a lot of missed tip ins. You're 7'4". Finish at the rim. And if you're running into double team situations, someone is open. It was the same blueprint against the OKC Thunder and the same against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Kick the ball out for a 3. You can't come down with a 3. Hopefully you get the offensive rebound. Now, this has been a bad situation for the San Antonio Spurs so far in this series, because you had the first game with Josh Hart crushing you on the boards, the same with Karl-Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson here and there when he's played. His minutes haven't been the same because of the pinky injury. But that's been a recipe for success. But in the second half, Wemby did not play well. But this is where I get into Mitch Johnson here. In the first half, you made 14 threes. That's an NBA Finals record for the most threes in the first half. Great. Your team is scorching hot from 3. Red hot. Love it. Devin Vassell balling out in the first half. The same with Wemby, Stephon Castle, De'Aaron Fox, Dylan Harper. In the second half, you only made 3 threes, and you're still shooting the same amount of threes that you shot in the first half. And Coach Johnson has a lot of Joe Mazzulla to his game. The head coach of the Boston Celtics. They will live by that 3. They will die by that 3. And I don't have a problem with you taking a bunch of threes if you're making threes. But when you're up by 29 points, it is no need to take 3-pointers at that point in time. Usually teams that are trying to crawl back into the game, they'll take a bunch of threes. They're trying to eat up the lead as fast as possible. That is what the Cavaliers tried to do against the New York Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. It just did not work out in their favor. But when you have a huge lead, get to the free throw line. Karl-Anthony Towns is back on the court. Get him back into foul trouble. There was a dumb play here. I do not agree with this call. It was a foul on Wemby. They upgraded to a flagrant 1. It was an elbow. That was not a flagrant foul in my opinion. What was a flagrant foul was the last game where he pushed Jalen Brunson upside his head. That is a flagrant foul. So I guess it's one of those situations they missed on that opportunity to give him a flagrant. They came back a couple of days later. We're going to give him a flagrant foul on this play. And Wemby has had a lot of questionable moments in terms of being a quote-unquote dirty player. But for Coach Johnson, your team is missing the threes to start the second half. Let's get away from that game plan. Let's go to the rim with De'Aaron Fox and Wemby. Let's run the 2-man game. Stephon Castle, you're an explosive guard. Get to the rim. You dunked on Isaiah Hartenstein. That's one of the best qualities of his game, his athleticism. Get these guys to foul trouble. Go at Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson is not a good defender. But they didn't do that. They settled for those threes. They lived by it in the first half, and they died by it in the second half. And that is on Coach Johnson and no one else. That was his game plan. He's clearly running a lot of plays for 3-point shooting. Just didn't make sense. And you have someone like Wemby who's 7'4", stop settling for the jump shots. If it's falling, that's great. But if you're 1 for 4 from 3, get away from the 3-point shot. Get away from the mid-range shot. Go to the post game. Wemby has one. And force a double team, get into the traffic, either force a foul or bounce the basketball out. You're not going to make every single shot. I get that. These are not perfect players. But the game plan has to be better. And Coach Johnson, one of the biggest factors why they lost this game. Mike Brown came out with a better game plan in the second half. Then we have De'Aaron Fox. I've said a lot of great things about De'Aaron Fox in the past. I still love his game. I got a lot of comments in my last video saying that this is not on De'Aaron Fox. Like hell it isn't. Yes, it is. De'Aaron Fox has a max contract. They traded a lot to bring him in a three-team trade a few years ago. His current contract is insane. 4 years, $229 million. For one, he has not shot well this playoff run. And I get it. It's this high ankle sprain that he suffered in the second round. So against the OKC Thunder, from games 3 to game 6, he was terrible from the field. just horrible. In Game 7, he did step up, had 15 points, 6 of 12 from the field, 3 of 7 from the three-point line. But De'Aaron Fox has not been that game-changing point guard that they were hoping for. And De'Aaron Fox has playoff experience. The only other players on this roster that has playoff experience is Luke Cornett. He's a bench player. The same with Harrison Barnes, bench player. Bismack Biyombo, bench player. De'Aaron Fox has playoff experience with the Sacramento Kings when they went to Game 7 against the Golden State Warriors. And funny enough, Mike Brown was the head coach of that team. You're expecting for him to be better. For the remaining point of this game, De'Aaron Fox, your max point guard, was 1 for 7 from the field. He had 4 turnovers in the fourth quarter. All of his turnovers came late in this game. It's inexcusable. And then you have this play. You get a break here. All he had to do, you got the ball in your hands. You're trying to go for a layup on OG. It was 3 possessions in this game. He went one-on-one with OG, couldn't score. OG is a great defender. I don't know why on earth you're trying to go at one of their best defenders on the court. Force a switch with Jalen Brunson. Don't go at Mikal Bridges. Do not go at OG. And the same with Cat down low. Your favorable matchup is Jalen Brunson. That's what worked out in Game 3. He went at Jalen Brunson. He came away with a good scoring output. He had 20 points. Pardon me, in Game 2, he had 20 points. 8 of 12 from the field because he went to Jalen Brunson. He went at Jalen Brunson. But all he had to do in this situation, you dribble the clock out or you force a foul, you get to the free throw line. And De'Aaron Fox is he's a very good free throw shooter. And now you force him to a tough situation. He came out 30 minutes after the game ended, and he told the reporter, I wanted to just force him to get into a tricky spot. I wanted them to have to go out there and to shoot a 3. It would have been the same situation. You just take your free throws here. Why are you trying to lay the ball up? And I got a couple of comments saying that he know how much time was left on the clock. He should know. You are the veteran player in the starting lineup. Wemby is in year 3. Stephon Castle is a sophomore. Devin Vassell, young into his career as well. Julian Champagnie has been in the NBA for some time now. But this is his first time in the NBA Finals. You're the veteran player. You have to know your situation here. And that falls on him. I'm not putting that on Coach Johnson. They blocked the ball with OG. And that led to the crazy tip in with OG. Jalen Brunson did miss the 3-point shot. They did not box out OG. He hits the tip in. And that is on Coach Johnson. A similar thing happened a few years ago with the Miami Heat. They were going against the Boston Celtics. It was a tip in with Derek White. And Eric Spoelstra came out and he said he blamed himself for it because he did not communicate to his team. Watch out for the box out. You have to do that in that situation. And it was smart of the New York Knicks in, let's draw Wemby out the paint. But regardless, you have to box out in that situation. You can say that was a bit of luck there with the New York Knicks. But that was still terrible execution in the second half with the San Antonio Spurs and terrible coaching with this team. Now, do I believe that they should fire Coach Johnson if they lose in 5 games? I don't think that they should. He is still a very good head coach in the NBA. We always get into these hot takes. Now, with some coaches, if you're Doc Rivers, I fully understand that. But Coach Johnson's still young into his career. Got this team to the NBA Finals. They just defeated the OKC Thunder a week ago, the reigning champions. And you can get into the injuries of the OKC Thunder. They didn't have J-Dub. They didn't have AJ Mitchell. Fine, I get it. But at the same time here, the Spurs are not fully healthy. De'Aaron Fox had the high ankle sprain. Went through a gauntlet here. And they're in the NBA Finals. They should not fire Coach Johnson. Now, this continues to happen. We can have a bigger conversation about this. Should they trade De'Aaron Fox? I don't think so. I don't think that they will. There's going to be a lot of teams calling around for De'Aaron Fox. My one thing is, how will he bounce back in the next game? Because a lot of Spurs fans right now, they are done with De'Aaron Fox. And Dylan Harper should get more minutes. Dylan Harper has been a star coming off the bench, and he's just a rookie. I think long-term, that's the play here. He will be the starting guard for this team. It's just a matter of time. You can't avoid it. Dylan Harper is so special coming off the bench to change direction, getting to the rim, the 3-point shot. Every single month in the regular season, he got better. And every single series, he's gotten better. You can make the case that he was their best player in the last game against the New York Knicks with San Antonio. And when you see those few minutes with him and Wemby, the outlet passes, the lob passes, it's sweet. But there's still value here with De'Aaron Fox. They're going to have a lot of conversations this offseason if they do lose in 5 or 6 games to the New York Knicks. And I still think that the San Antonio Spurs will win the next game at home. But unfortunately, I think that's where the winning stops. I think that they will lose in 6 games to the New York Knicks. And I think that the Knicks will win at home. Now, if I'm the Knicks here, I don't give a damn where I win the championship at. I just want to win the championship and get this team the hell out of my face as soon as possible. And I'm just a neutral fan. I was hoping for a 7-game series. But we've had those fun moments. Every single game has been close to some degree. Going back to game 1, the Spurs did lose by 10 points, but that was still a close game for majority of it. It's just the little things here with the San Antonio Spurs. And I'm very disappointed in how Coach Johnson came out in this series and how he's tried to attack Mike Brown. Mike Brown's just on a different level right now. And that team, they deserve to win. The New York Knicks, they deserve this moment because the San Antonio Spurs, they choked it away. You pissed away that lead. You can put some of the blame on Wemby, put some of the blame on Julian Champagnie. And by the way, I'm happy that I'm bringing them up right now because I was about to forget Julian Champagnie. Julian Champagnie is a good 3-point shooter, but he's been hot and cold in this series. Outside the first half in game 1, hasn't done much on the offensive end. And he's been a solid defender. In the second half of this game, they should have pulled Julian Champagnie. That also goes back to Coach Johnson. He was getting work, whether it's by OG, Jalen Brunson, whomever. He was getting cooked. Jose Alvarado comes in, hits him with a crazy spin move, goes to the rim. They should have pulled Julian Champagnie. Because the one thing with Julian Champagnie, if his defense does take a step back, if he's not giving you that much on the offensive end, he's not good out there. That's the definition of cone play. You have to give the team something. And the 3-point shot was not falling last night with Julian Champagnie, even in the first half. Majority of the 3-point shots really came down from Devin Vassell, who had 18 points. Julian Champagnie only had 5 points and 5 rebounds and 3 assists. He was 2 for 9 from the field, 1 of 7 from 3. That's being swept on the rug. And Keldon Johnson, it is okay to get an offensive rebound and to kick the basketball out. It is okay to get a defensive rebound and not try to go out there and be the next LeBron James in transition. Pass the basketball. That's why he's a bench player right now. That's why you see Coach Johnson lying on the sideline. He's getting it to him. And the same with Bryant. They'll just have these dumb moments on the court. I don't understand what it is with Keldon Johnson. Keldon Johnson is still a solid bench player. But you got to get the basketball up, man. You have to pass the ball. Trying to go up on 2 to 3 people, that's just not his game, and it never will be. But analytically speaking, if you're a Kenny Atkinson fan, Spurs up 3-1. Same with Shaquille O'Neal. Analytically, they're up 3-1. Analytics are going to get a lot of people fired, and they've gotten a lot of people fired. No one cares about analytics on a serious note. No one cares about that at all. Did you win the game? Did you lose the game? Look at all these tracker sheets and all the little betting markets. The San Antonio Spurs have a 98% chance of winning this game. They ain't won anything yet. It's not over till it's over. And that's for any sport, whether it's baseball, basketball, football, especially football, because some weird things can happen down the stretch. Same in basketball. Because a 15-point lead in today's NBA is not a 15-point lead going back to the 80s and the 90s where they were not shooting the 3 that much. And I said this was the worst loss in recent memory with the San Antonio Spurs. This is the worst loss in San Antonio Spurs history. I have a different perspective with it now. Coach Pop would have never let this happen. Ever. Had to close out this game. But let me know in the comment section below how you feel about San Antonio. And that's my take on the Spurs so far. I still put majority of the blame on De'Aaron Fox and same with Coach Johnson. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want you to last, one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless. Peace.